Welcome to the From the 108 podcast, starring the drunk uncles of White Sox Twitter. He's a Twitter-like whore, an Instagram thirst trap, and your grandma's guilty pleasure, Beef Loaf. A West Coast attitude in a decidedly Midwest body, My Sock Summer. And your host, he's sharing obscure music thoughts to give you time to hit the bathroom, Teresa E.
Thank you, Quarrzy, and welcome to the From the 108 podcast. Get ready for some baseball, beer, and bullshit. And remember the drinking rules. If Beef Loaf calls himself a menace or talks about gilfs, you drink. If My Sock Summer begs for free shit or gets piss on his hands, you drink. And if I talk music or say, here's the thing, you drink. And of course, you can make all of us drink for a tip of $1.08 or more.
We love those super chats a lot more if you could.
But speaking of drinking, Beef Loaf, what are you drinking?
Hercules. I'm bringing it back. I'm bringing it back with the Jameson, the Black Barrel Club. I thought about. I have so much and seltzers and stuff from the opening weekend in which I bought a lot of stuff just to kind of have. And I thought I'm not going to dip into that. I'm going to leave that for the next time the White Sox have a homestand. So I'm locked and loaded. I don't have to do anything. And this has been treating me so well during these shows. I really enjoy sipping on this bad boy. It's a nice elixir for the podcast. What are you drinking, Teresa?
I have to get a taste of that next time I'm at the house there. You know. So, but I have a mishmash of different Mexican beers tonight. So
okay.
There's a bunch of stuff left over from the opening day weekend, but I'm starting with the little Modelo Chelada, which my guy Kier was telling me they make a Suprema now. Of Chelada, and I think it's probably a malt liquor because it's 8%.
Great.
So I don't know, man. I don't know if I'm down with that. I told him to keep his eye out for it, though. We might have to try it, but I've not seen it yet. It is for the high ABV, low cost buyer, if I recall, if that's the way they describe it. So that's what I'm drinking, but I've got some Corona. I've got some other Modelo. I've got some, what else I got? Pacificos in here. So like, it's a whole bunch of stuff, but kind of all in the same vein. So I feel like it's cohesive enough.
Yeah. Press says you're going with a bullpen game. I can't disagree. That's what it sounds like. It sounds like you're just rounding up the beers that were in the fridge and throwing them down. Okay. It's okay to do that on a Thursday night, especially it's warming up a little bit too.
We worked the staff really hard this past week. They were the beer staff was run ragged this past week. So
I'm saying. That's what tends to happen occasionally. Yeah, that's why I felt beer bloated. So I you know what? I had told you guys drinking beers before. I was getting the beer farts real bad. I just needed to go something other than beer tonight, just to mix it up a little bit.
I got to tell you, I love beer, so I'm gonna keep drinking it, even if I am getting bloated, even if I am just like puffy and disgusting. It's delicious. I'm gonna keep doing it, Beef. I'm gonna keep doing it. I respect it. How you doing tonight, buddy?
You know what? I'm good, but I just got a couple things that get off my mind. Number one, I'm an evolutionist. I consider you an evolutionist, Chorizo. But I saw something that took me aback a little bit. I'm getting a little concerned. I want you to tell me what's going on here. Do we still believe in dinosaurs after trying to watch what's going on here? Is this possibly how they procreated? What the fuck is all this?
So here's the thing about dinosaurs that I've always had a bit of a problem with, Beef, is that like, you only find dinosaur pieces. You find the pieces of the puzzle. I don't know who got to make up how they looked, right? Like it feels like a fucking guess, and they've looked the same since I was a kid. Now I have heard some stuff like, oh well, some of these had some feathers and shit like this, or some bullshit, But like, I feel weird that we've just accepted the shapes and sizes of these things when we it's rare that you find like a full skeleton.
Right, exactly. Well, I was going to say, there have been some refutations of some of these, right, where they've changed. Oh, okay, this actually looks like this, and there's been some adjustments to it. And I remember I made Guernsey push me off the top of the Field Museum when we were up there hanging out when I said, these might not be put together exactly right. I think she thought I didn't think there were dinosaurs. I think there are dinosaurs. I don't know. I'm with you, Treasy. I don't know if they look exactly like this. And watching this little meme here, which is obviously a joke, watching them try to fuck in those different, I don't know, man. They had to work something out. I'm going to say, you know what I mean?
We also don't know what they were packing, right? I mean, like that's something, I don't know. I don't know how that all worked. We didn't get to watch any of it. So,
right.
I'm sure there's dinosaur porn out there, but it's not real, guys. That part is being fake. Just in case you were wondering, I don't think that's real. But at some point they had to, right? Like unless they had some other way of doing things. But I don't know. I don't know enough about dinosaurs to tell you. But I do think we need to relook at what these motherfuckers might have looked like.
Yeah, we're not 100% sure. Now, I will say up in the upper right-hand corner there, I don't know, is that a Triceratops? The Triceratops they look like they could fuck like that. But the Brachiosaurus on the other side, the long shit, there's no way that's how they got down. They couldn't, no way they're climbing up there like that.
I don't know why they got the Stegosaurus going missionary. Yeah,
I don't either. That's weird, but that could happen. They could have missionary or side sail. I don't know. It's tough. I'm not 100% sure what could have happened there.
We should get a scientist on to discuss this. I think this would be a good topic for. Do we have any scientists available? Specifically dinosaur related. Like anyone in the comments know somebody. Like, the Ross Miller of the world.
we could definitely use it. I would love to have a serious conversation about that, but laughing up about that is like there's so much stuff you don't know about the past or even current trees. I know there's been a lot of alien talk out there recently as well. Not something I was prepared to dive into, but I figured I'd bring it up to you.
I mean, I love the alien talk. I would just actually listen to a 3-hour podcast with Avi Loeb that was really great. I'll send it to you because I think it's good. It's a good science podcast, but more so than aliens. But there's a lot of alien talk. I am very disappointed that I've been watching all this stuff with them going around the moon recently.
Oh yeah, yep.
And I mean, some great stuff. Obviously, some really great stuff there. But they hit all the alien stuff because when they went around the dark side of the moon and they were out of communication for like 40 minutes. I mean, that's when you're going to see it all.
Yeah.
And so they silence
them.
They're like, oh, we can't possibly get a signal back there. Blah blah blah. It's like bullshit. You turned off that signal because you knew what they were going to see, and they saw it. And then they made them talk to the president like right after, and they were all just like, I don't really want to talk. And it could be a lot of reasons that they didn't want to talk at that moment, but I just feel like they saw some shit, and I wish that they would just admit it. NASA. Yeah, tell us about the colony that's back there.
They won't put that out there, and then next thing you know, every scientist that discovered some new shit, dude gets clipped. These guys living in remote places, and they're getting fucking clipped left and right. It's crazy how they're trying to suppress all this stuff, Teresa. I'm shocked for one that we're not allowed to just know that there are aliens. Like, what the fuck, man? What's the big deal? I don't get it.
Can't you just tell us that the moon's a spaceship? I mean, just admit it. Just admit it to us. You went up there, you checked it out. You know what's going on.
Exactly. Now, Teresa, one other thing
all right, you got some other stuff.
I saw this, and I just I immediately thought of you because we haven't been talking about Luigi Mangione very much lately. But the CEO of Five Guys, he decided he was going to give $1.5 million bonuses so his employees wouldn't shoot him. You don't want to get shot, Treasy.
I think if anyone was in the least amount of danger of CEOs, I think the Five Guys CEO was probably not in too much danger, except for maybe from the community that is allergic to peanuts. They probably hate his fucking guts. But I think that
there's no question.
I think that this is a good standard to set, in my opinion. You know, like these guys should be giving some bonuses and maybe a little extra to make them sleep well at night. I have no ill will towards what just happened here. Like I also think some of the employees should go to Twitter and say, well, the bonus was good, but it wasn't save your life good. You know,
just kind of, bait the water a little bit so the bonus keeps coming a little bit higher. Yeah,
that needs to be $3 million next year.
Would you say that bullying works? I mean, allegedly, with this case, because now he's starting to kick out some money. And the guys, I looked it up in the New York Post where the article was. The guy's name is Jerry Morrell. He's 82 years old. He's 82 already, and he founded Five Guys 40 fucking years ago, and now he's just getting around to, well, I probably should throw out some bonuses so they don't kill me.
I mean, yeah, it sounds like he's 40 years late on that. Like, so, but I would like to understand what $1.5 million in bonuses is across his employees.
Well, because it says in the article here,
he has 3 million employees. I'm really not impressed.
Well, that's a good call. He says it says in the article it's divided among 1,500 workers, and it was paid out around their 40th anniversary celebration. So yeah, no, not 3 million people, Treasy. So that's a solid bonus right there. Very decent. I don't know,
especially if you're not expecting,
but still good. Yeah. When exactly. You're not expecting. You're just kind of getting it. So kind of cool that he got that. But just wild. And these life and times that it's like, yeah, I better start treating people well, because otherwise they might get. I don't condone that type of behavior. But sometimes some shit goes too far and got to make people realize what's going on, I guess,
The sad thing is, Beef, we'll never know. We'll never know if it worked.
True.
Right?
That's true.
Like,
yeah.
Because if it worked, like him not getting shot, it works, right? But like, we don't know if there was someone who was thinking about it. Well, like one of his employees was like, I heard he's coming to town next month. I'm going to get this motherfucker. And then you get the $1,000 check and you're like, all right, next time. Well, just keep watching your back.
I'm good for now. Just for now, though. Let's be careful.
Speaking of guys running shit, Beef, I know you are, an occasional watcher of this show, which is the Bar Rescue. You know that one?
Oh, yeah.
With John Taffrey.
Yep.
John
I watched
Taffrey,
that. Yeah, John Taffrey comes in and screams at everyone and changes the bar and all that stuff. Yeah, I haven't seen that.
So he's like, I guess there's a new season out right now. Okay. And he's live tweeting the season, right?
Oh,
like when the show's on.
Got it.
Which is, I think, that's fun.
Yeah,
the problem is he's not hashtagging these. He's not doing this in a thread. He's just tweeting. So his tweets are just out there now, and you get shit like this. It'll just randomly come up in your feed. Like Twitter hasn't been chronological in forever. So I'm just like sitting here, just going through my feed, and I get raw shrimp cross contamination just all by itself. Dead rat in the fridge. Like I have no context for what is happening. Now, luckily, I know who this is. I know what he's doing, but like this shit's got to be crazy. If you just saw this pop up, you just see dead rat in the fridge, ! And then like the next tweet you might look at from this guy is like, that's what it's all about. It's like, wait, what?
Hang on, what's happening here? That's a wild show, man. And a lot of times, like, the part of the show that I like the best is not them changing the bar over and improving stuff forever. It's always the same sad story. The bartenders don't know how to make any fucking drinks. The kitchen is fucked up beyond recognition. What I like is when there's like a husband and wife running it, and the husband's a huge alcoholic, and he runs out on the thing, or he wants to fight Taffer or whatever. That's really, for me, the conflict of the disaster people that actually run bars. The thing about it sometimes is like, oh yeah, that bar, and we know some bar owners, and they're very like methodical and good business people, but not every bar is like that. A lot of bars are fucked up. These bars,
all the closed ones are not like that.
Exactly.
I think the show itself is weird though, because like it's kind of we were actually out having drinks last night. We were talking about this, and our guy HBIC is like, every place that they go, like it could be like the shittiest like dive bar in like a town that is a very beer and beer in a shot town, and he's like, let me implement this 15 cocktail system for you here that just like it's like no one's gonna drink that shit. No one's
no one's ever gonna buy that. And they plant people in there too to go in and try the shit out, and they always make some sort of drink that you see these bars, they would never serve that drink. Like it's kind of like a little bit bullshit. It's like, they're not pouring that. All right, why don't you just give them a straight up drink to pour and like a regular thing? No, they don't. They go in there because it's like it's like they're setting them up for failure every time. I saw the one someone pointed out to me. I think it was Tony Marchese. He showed me the one with Barstool Big Cats in a few of them, where he's the guy who goes in and orders drinks and shit like that.
The pressure test is always my favorite too, because it's like
the worst. They never.
It's like, well, yeah, because it's like a place with like one fryer, like one basket fryer in the back, and they're like, someone comes in and like, all I ordered was 4,000 cheese sticks. I don't know why this is taking so long.
They got 200 people in there and 3 bartenders. It's like, give me a break, like. And everyone's ordering cocktails. Nobody's just ordering like a bucket of beer or whatever, so you can get them off the line. But no, everything's ordering all the hardest shit possible. Yeah, this would really happen in real life for this shitty ass fucking bar here. Sure.
I need you to give me 15 Guinness and 17 Sazeracs. Like, let's say, good luck.
That's what we always drink here.
All right, Beef. I think we got one from our guy Burke that we want to go get a little bit into here. So he sent us this. It was from Polymarket. They had a tweet. It's Polymarket, so they're just stealing someone else's content. But this is from a Reddit user that was like wanted to find a way to end tanking in the NBA, and the idea would be that you either for every win increase the price that they could sell beer for or decrease it. So like you have to sell it at this, and it starts at $10. Every win is worth 35 cents. You could push beer up. Every loss, though, you automatically drop the price 20 cents, right? Like, so over the season, it kind of stays in the same range unless you're winning a ton or losing a ton. And the thing here is that if we're the Wizards, at this point, they would have to pay fans 10 cents every time they ordered a beer.
Yeah, I like that you can go underwater on this. This like comic right here, a little bit of back in the day, the Seattle Mariners. There was a bar that was pretty close to the Kingdome, and the Mariners had a catcher, Dave Valle, who would notoriously have very low batting averages, and he'd never really ever bat above 200. But the bar would serve beers at whatever price that the price of his batting average. So if he's hitting $1.25, $1.25 beers fucking all the time. So like, I like little gimmicks like that. It would be cool to like do. You just did it kind of like homestand based, and maybe bounce it up a little bit more. For baseball, it'd be different, right? Obviously, there's more home games and everything, but maybe you only do it for the homestand and say, okay, we're going to start at some price. Every loss down $1, every win up $1. I think it'd be something fun to kind of monitor. I'd be shocked if the problem is like passing that out everywhere and getting it right, because you have signage, you have all this stuff. Like, it's just like a huge pain in the ass to keep changing all that shit.
So that's what I was thinking. I was thinking that the mechanics of that would be extremely difficult, right?
Yeah.
But I do like the idea, and I like the idea of like, hey, there should be some fucking competition here for the owners too, right?
Yeah.
Like they can just lose and make money. That's weird. That's not how that should be. So I put a little twist on this, Beef. What do you think about this? All kind of the vice items. So all the alcohol in the stadium. Let's say in future years you're selling weed in the stadium, which will definitely happen at some point.
No, it's going to be happening for sure.
Stuff like that. You sell all that all game. If you lose, the other team gets it. So
yes.
So like you could go on a road trip and beat the shit out of a team on the road and like make a ton of money because you went and kicked some ass on the road. You could be taking money from teams in your division constantly, right? Like if you're a good team, you can fuck over the teams in your division because you're just going to take all their beer money every time that you come through. That I would like to do. I think that would put some skin in the game for the owners because I don't think they give a shit enough, man. Like just the winning and losing ain't enough anymore.
Yeah.
They're more than well prepared to lose.
Right.
So how about you lose some money? How about all that money that I just paid for these expensive ass beers? That don't go to you. That goes to the other team because you fucked up.
You want the owners to have as much skin in the game as Jackie Moon had for the flip topics. That's how much you want him in there. You don't want to get up to a certain point. He's got to give corn dogs away he doesn't have. He's got the big check for the guy who hits the 3/4 court shot. Yeah, you need those kind of owners type of skin in the game. I like this, Treasy, because I used to have the thing where they should have to bet cash money on every game with the other owner, and it should be settled in cash every night. Because how painful would that be? The suitcase that has $2 million got to go to the other owner. You'd be pissed, so I like this, but owners will never do this. A lot of these guys, a few of them are competitive enough that they would maybe be interested in. Most of them are just kind of like, handling an estate or in some instance,
Could you imagine though, if some of them started doing Jackie Moon type shit, right? Like you're down like 8-0 in the first, right? Like you're just getting your balls bashed in the first inning and they just cut off beer sales. Just like,
that's it.
Oh, the machines are down. Not that would ever happen.
That would never ever happen, which we will definitely get to later on in the show. But yeah, let's
get a couple drinks here, Beef.
Let's do it.
Our guy Gordo, he says, "Cheers, boys! Screw MSS and his sty shirt." Cheers, Gordo.
Gordo, I know what you're up to. Bless you, my friend.
Our guy CJ says, "Just paying this so I don't get shot." Cheers, everyone. Cheers, CJ.
Appreciate you, my friend.
All right, Beef, I feel like it's time for you to pay some fucking bills.
I think it actually is. Let's go.
Baseball is back on the South Side, and when you come to a game, remember Lawrence's Fish and Shrimp at 2120 South Canal Street is open 24 hours a day to serve you, the hungry Sox fan. Pre or post game, Lawrence's is a place to be. Want to win a free gift card? All season long, post a selfie at any of Lawrence's locations, tag us, and we'll select one lucky winner per month and send you a gift card. Enter on Twitter or Instagram. Not coming to a game but craving some Lawrence's? In addition to Canal, Lawrence's has 3 convenient locations for all your selfie and feasting needs. 3242 West 87th Street in Evergreen Park, 50 South Manhide Road in Hillside, 3248 Vollmer Road in Olympia Fields. Order ahead and avoid the wait at chicagoshrimp.com. Lawrence's Fish and Shrimp, the place to be on the South Side all season long.
All right. Let's get into a little White Sox talk.
Ooh.
Beef, we got a bunch of stuff to talk about today.
We do, yes.
But first, and this is something you've been talking about a little bit. Our moves like sending Hedson Paez back to Chowdertown and opening the game with Grant Taylor 3 out of 4 days, decisive moves of a clear-thinking front office, or a couple of taps on the panic button for a team that can't afford to lose 100 games again. And let's add Shane Smith being sent down into that list, because when you sent this question,
it was before
that had not happened yet. So
it had not happened yet.
Add that to the list.
Yeah, I mean, Chorizo, to me, the actions we're seeing, especially after that first road trip where the White Sox went 1-5, it was a disastrous road trip. We were at the Sunday game that they should have won in Milwaukee. They hit the shit out of the ball. Bullpen absolutely blew it up. I brought up a point before the season about how I felt that certain members of this front office might not want to continue to have their name tied to such bad teams going forward. And I brought forth just Josh Barfield because he had interest from other teams to potentially move over and be in other front offices. And, careers do shift wildly like that. Jeff Passan came on our show a couple years ago, and we were asking him about, Rick Hahn's front offices. None of them ever had any interest. No one wanted to poach his people. It's like, yeah, the team sucked. Well, sometimes when you suck and you got that stink on you, it's going to be tough for you to go find yourself and go to another job. And so when I started seeing these moves come down, the Rule 5 one was pretty hilarious because it's like, I don't know if people understand the Rule 5 picks. You basically poach a guy from another team And in order to keep that player, they have to stay on your roster for the entire year. It's most of the year. It's not the entire year. You can hide him on the IL for a little bit of it. There's a certain amount of days you got to put him on there. And to have the guy make it through spring training, and then the first week of the season is not complete yet, and you tell him to get the fuck out of here after pitching a couple innings, is a wild move, in my opinion. Trees, am I off base on this or what?
No, and so my thought on this whole scenario, Beef, and this, your point is a great one towards this, is you had all off season to do anything about this. Like you spent the off season not trying to get to a team that could win, more than 62 games. You didn't try to do that all off season. You got the Mooney signing that fell into your lap. That was awesome. And then you did nothing else to try and make this team good. You said, hey, we're not prioritizing winning. We're trying to do this and we're trying to do that. And then like a few games into the season, you're like, oh, fuck, we need to prioritize winning. And like, it's like they're shocked. And it's the, I'm surprised you're surprised.
100%. And the Grant Taylor opening the game falls into this realm as well, in my personal opinion. Now, there's nothing wrong with openers, but let's go through the opener strategy a little bit. The idea of the opener here is that the first inning is, in fact, a high leverage inning. And it makes sense if you think about it from the standpoint of the other team lines up their batting order and what they feel is the optimal order in which to score runs, which means it's at its strongest in the first inning. You could end up with that same group up 1, 2, 3 again to start that another inning, but it's not likely. It's very likely, though, in the first inning. And so the idea with the opener is when you don't have a very strong starting pitcher, you would have a relief pitcher come in and pitch that first inning. Now, there's a few ways to do this. Sometimes you would pick opposite arm reliever to come and do this. This way, they have to decide how they want to set their lineup. If they want to take advantage of that opener and then leave themselves susceptible to your starter.
Oh, did we lose the Beef?
Oh, my! Did you lose me there, Trezo?
We lost you for a second there. Lost you for a second.
The other thing that the other advantage there is you're not having your starting pitcher face the top of the order 3 times. There's a third time through the order penalty for starting pitchers that gets avoided by putting in the opener. Now, the teams that use the opener a lot, you know what they don't generally do, Treasy? They don't generally have their best reliever as the opener. It's usually like the 3rd or 4th or 5th best reliever, not your best reliever, which is why this was weird the entire time. Nothing against it. And I saw people say, well, maybe they're getting Grant Taylor, like they're getting him ready to start. If they were, they would have let him go through the order 1 time or 2 innings or 3 innings or whatever, instead of 1 fucking clean inning and your ass is out of here. So it was a very strange, we're terrified. It was like they're trying to win a playoff game, basically, by putting him in that spot, because a lot of teams will use them in the playoffs when they have a weak starter. So very, very strange to me, Trezo. Did it strike you as strange as well?
Well, it's strange for a couple of reasons. So one, you alluded to it, but I'm never one to complain about, hey, you're using that opener, so you're not going to have that reliever later in the game, because as you noted, it's usually not your best reliever that you're doing this with. Then they have a shitty bullpen for the rest of the game, right? And Jordan Leisure, I know you guys love him, but he gives up a home run every time he gets out there. So I'm not counting him in. So then you just have to make it. So that's why Sean Newcomb has already pitched 200 innings this season. So this kind of thing, it makes sense if you have enough guys in the bullpen, if this works out. I just don't believe, and maybe I'm totally wrong. Maybe I'm misreading the situation. I don't believe that they believe that Grant Taylor is a starter.
Yeah.
I don't think that this is part of stretching him out.
I don't
think it is, because they alluded to it last year when they moved him to the pen, that this was the best way to keep him healthy. So if they don't believe that they could keep him healthy as a starter, this doesn't encourage, they're going to slowly ramp him up for 6 months to start at the end of the season. If they're only giving him an inning. So I don't know. I don't really believe that. But it's smart in a way, because you're hey, let's get these terrible pitchers off to a good good start for the game. But again, it just goes back to, you know why your starters are terrible? Because this is who you signed. This is
right.
This is what you did in the offseason. So, like, you shouldn't need this. You shouldn't need to have to do this. And you shouldn't shit your pants immediately with Shane Smith, because you had all the time in the world to go out and sign guys to put in front of him like that. Since mid-season last year, when we were talking about this in the tub, and we're like, I like Shane Smith, but he shouldn't be your ace. Like, you should protect him. You shouldn't put him in a position to fail. And they were like, fuck that. Let's make him the ace. and treat him just like every other team treats their ace. If you're bad for 3 starts, you're going to the fucking minors. Like, so it just doesn't, like, I get that he's having command problems, and I get that you want to work that out. And, like, that's fine. And if you have a plan for it, great. But it still looks ridiculous. It's just it's a ridiculous look. It's like you didn't know what was going to happen this season.
It looks amateurish, right, Treasy? Because if you had concerns going into the season, you could have had him be the 4th starter or whatever and say, well, we just like him lining up in this match or whatever. Maybe have some bullshit excuse. No, you put him first, and then 3 starts. You don't even let him work it out. That was the thing I was thinking of too, Treasy. You're not treating him like a guy, like a veteran, like someone of status who they should have some opportunity to work this out. You're treating him the exact opposite. And I thought I agree with you that you're like, how do you have that guy as your opening starter and then you treat him like this after 3 starts? Right. It's bizarre. I get the idea, but it just looks bad. All of it looks bad to me, at least.
It's crazy if they would. I was thinking about this morning. If they would have signed, let's say they sign a couple guys, and we talked about some guys previously, and guys that didn't go for like a ton of fucking money, right? Like if they put like a Zach Littell and a Chris Bassett in front of him, right? And now he's the 3 behind those guys, and he's the 3, and he's pitching like he's pitching right now. They probably would have been like, this is fine. Let him work it out. He's our number 3. Like, but instead they have to freak out about it because they're like, let's put all our eggs in this basket. This is how could this possibly go wrong?
It's unbelievable. I can't believe how they looked the exact opposite last year, Chorizo. They look patient. They look ready for, okay, they rolled with the punches. They did get the heater from the group, and they looked good in the second half. But they played the whole thing like, we're accumulating talent. We're going to let guys develop. Yes. Did they send guys down? Of course, to work on stuff. And they even sent Sean Burke down at the end of the season and, whatever. But they never looked panicked like they looked panicked in the early part of this season. And it does worry me a little bit because I just do have that in the back of my mind. Some of these guys, Barfield could leave, and I don't know, does that hurt or harm? But it feels like it harms, and I don't want people jumping off the ship. If you start, Getz had the reputation that, he's talking a good game, good plan, or whatever. If guys start jumping off the ship, you might stop getting the talented guys in who would say, you're talking a good game here. Maybe that is part of the thing, too, part of the calculus.
Well, it also doesn't feel like there's a plan. That's the thing that, like, if let's say they started exactly the way that they started this season, which is not good. I don't know if you guys know what good and bad are, but it's bad. All right. Great opening series against the Blue Jays. I enjoyed the shit out of it. We had a great time, but the team's been bad. And when you start out like that and you then immediately freak out, it looks like you didn't plan to be like this, right? But all offseason you told us you did, right? You kind of say, you're like, we're looking to develop these guys. We're looking to build on these foundations and stuff. And then you're like, actually, this Rule 5 guy that we got that we knew never played above single A. And then we were like, we'll take this risk. 3 days in, you're like, this is too risky. This is too risky.
It's over. We're not going to do this anymore. Yeah. What did you see in the 2 outings?
It seemed like there was a plan. Yeah. And it seemed like there was a plan. And then they deviated from the plan almost immediately. Let's get a couple drinks here.
Let's do it.
J Dove or Duve, I don't know which one. Apologies. Says you guys are making it difficult to multitask watching the Sox and Knights game too. Oh man, how many screens you got, my man? Cheers. That's awesome. Appreciate
Get down James Brown. Do it.
And then we got our guy John. He says, checking in from Indy. Cheers, gents. 108ing at Kilroy's. Oh, Johnny Kilroy's.
Beautiful.
All right. Cheers.
Cheers, John. Bless you.
And by the way, I'm on to the Corona. That's
Thanks for the update. The bullpen game.
The second pitcher has come in. All right, Beef. The next thing we want to talk about here is when Everson Pereira went on the IL, they brought up Tanner Murray. So not replacing an outfielder with an outfielder, replacing an outfielder with an infielder. Is that a sign that they want Acuña to concentrate on center field and work towards learning center field? Or is it some kind of service time manipulation for Sam Antonacci?
Well, initially, I was hopeful that they were going to just let Luis Angel Acuña, set it and forget it in center field and actually learn how to play the position, because it's clear he's got the speed and maybe, mobility out there, but he lacks the instincts. He just hasn't been out there very much. He could really use the time. And then they're still fucking around, putting him at short and moving Colson Montgomery over to third and kind of mixing and matching with him. And so it appears that all they want to do is keep Sam Antonacci down in the minors until they control a seventh year. I mean, that kind of seems to be the play, right? I mean, they're putting him in left field. I heard tonight, though, he destroyed William Bergoya. I hope Antonacci's okay. It looks like Bergoya a little bit. They collided. But it seems like they're trying to fastest path for Antonacci to get here, except they want to make sure they control enough service time. Treasy, what do you think?
So a few things. One, with Acuña, he's going to kill me this season. Like his breaks on fly balls, it's like watching Benintendi play center field. It's upsetting to watch. And
I don't know
he has
if makeup speed.
He does, but I don't know if it was the cold or the wind or what on Monday night. But watching him in that game, I was just like, what is happening here? Like this, there was a few where I was like, it was coming at him, and I'm like, I don't know if he's going to catch this. Like this is iffy if this ball's getting caught.
Yeah.
And so that worries me a little bit. But I agree with you. Like they should just leave him out there and let him figure it out, because I don't see him having a whole ton of value elsewhere on this team. Like there is a need in the outfield. There's not as much of a need in the infield. Because in fact, Antonacci is going to get pushed to the outfield because there's no spot for him in the infield, right? And then the service time manipulation piece, Beef. I always believe that there's a way to be dumb from both sides of an argument. And I think that this one is one of those. Is like, one, if the Sox are manipulating his service time, it's just dumb. Why? Because, and I know, if you're going to defend the Sox, you're going to say, well, they get an extra year. An extra year what? Yeah. Because it's a guy like Sam Antonacci is not an expensive guy to keep around. Like if you really wanted him to stay, you could sign him the next year. It probably around what you would pay for him in arbitration. Like it's not like he has some skill set that is like completely unique that you're like, oh man, this, how could we let this guy go for, and or pay him, $15 million? You're not going to pay him that much. You're just not. Right. And so that's dumb. But also, if you're mad about it, that you're going to have to wait like 2 weeks to see this guy in the major leagues, that's also dumb. Because I don't know when Sam Antonacci became like this all-world baseball player. Like, I'm excited for him because it's like, hey, this is a guy that's probably not supposed to make the major leagues, right? Like where he's drafted and all this stuff. And he's ascended and he's working hard. He seems like the kind of guy that will do everything to get out there, and he busts his ass. He gets hit by 1,000 pitches a season, to try and get on base. I love all this stuff about him, right? Like, but at the same time, a left fielder, like, we don't get enough home run power out of Benintendi in left field, and he hit 20 last year. Benintendi hit 20 home runs the past 2 years.
Right.
Antonacci had 5 home runs last year in the minors. So you're saying like if he comes to the pros and then quadruples that, there's still really not enough power for left field.
Right.
And so I'm excited, like, hey, let's get some young guys up here. Our outfield stinks. So like he'll be a welcome sign to be out there. Like I love watching him in comparison to the rest of the team.
To what we're watching, yeah.
But it's not like, oh man, now we're set in left field, because you're not. That's not your next 5 years left fielder. And if the Sox think that, I'm even more concerned about their plan.
Treasy, let me get to this comment first. It's our guy K Dog. He says Italians blocking our guy. But go ahead. Yeah, they are. They did it on purpose. He might have done it on purpose. We're going to look into that. The mafia may be involved with this injury. We're not 100% sure. Treasy, I was laughing because Paul was like in our group chat. He's like, he's like Antonacci's like a fringe top 10 prospect. He goes, when did he become like the best player ever? And everyone can't wait till he gets here. It's like he seems like he's fine. He'll probably help this team a little bit, but it's like everyone's with bated breath now. Just like bring me Antonacci.
Well, think about it this way. Think about if Chase Meidroth was coming up right now, and we were getting this excited about him. Right, like it's to be the same level. It's like the same kind of guy. Get a couple drinks here.
Let's do it.
Both from J-Zell. All right, J-Zell says, "Where is MSS? Did he quit? Is he pissed about money?" I'm sure he's pissed about money for some reason, but no, he's still with us. He just he's not here for the first half. He might pop in the second half. We'll see. Might just be me and Beef tonight. Cheers.
We'll see. Thanks, J-Zell.
And then he says, is Shy Sox Mike serious? What's with the doom and gloom? I don't know what that's in reference to, but I don't know. Send us what Shy Sox fan Mike said, and we won't read it, but, at least we'll know.
The thing about Shy Sox fan Mike is he swings wildly with his motions just based on any small thing that happens with the White Sox. So is he serious? Absolutely, but he'll swing back if something good happens, so don't worry. But thank you, Jason.
Beef, anything else on the Luis and Sam Antonacci?
I'm good
side?
there, Chorizo.
All right. Then a very simple question for you. Are you worried about Colson Montgomery yet?
Yes, I am. And even though he doubled tonight, he did hit a ball hard tonight. I'm going to bring up his heat map from Baseball Savant. You don't have to know a lot about anything to read these heat maps. All you need to know is the blue shit is not good. The red shit is, in fact, good. Very good. A couple very good things there. Bat speed and range at shortstop. Chorizo, one thing that we're having a problem with the big homie Colson Montgomery, who tonight did it. Going into tonight does have a 104 WRC plus. That's roughly league average hitter. Is hitting in zone contact. It's something that's the thing that everyone was worried about with Mooney. Would Mooney struggle and be at the bottom end? Mooney is actually above the projections. He's at 75%, which is still a little lower end, but not terrible. Colson Montgomery coming into the night, 68.6% zone contact, which is terrible. Very bad. And the thing about Montgomery, I'm not sure I worry that much long-term. I think there's enough power here. There's enough athleticism on defense that he'll have a spot on the team. But when you're looking at 2026, a lot of what you were counting on for this team to have its little bump was Colson Montgomery taking a step forward, being better. To me, it looks like the heater that you saw last year was just a heater, and he's stepped back a little bit. Not to say that he won't be productive during the year. I think he'll be okay, but it doesn't look like so far. It doesn't look like a superstar. It looks like a guy who's going to strike out 30+% of the time and run into a few of them.
Yeah, his whip percentage is getting close to 40 right now. And the strikeout is, I think it's around 35%. Those all sound bad. I agree, Beef. Those all sound bad. But remember, you can simply send him to Arizona for a week, and then he gets good again. They've always got
give him the magic dust.
They've always got that in their back pocket. So I'm not too concerned. I think that there's always an option to just go, hey, take a little vacation with your guy Ryan. We'll see you after that week. I bet you come back fresh as a daisy, hitting home runs for us. We'll meet you in Colorado.
To me, he's the only one of like the main hitters. I wasn't sure about Edgar Carroll, but out of the other main hitters, Muney's good so far. Vargas has been good. So is Meidroth. And so Colson's the only one who's kind of slid back down a little bit. And the strikeouts are worrisome. Like the fact that he hasn't kind of, gotten to the point where he's making more contact, punching some balls to the left side. He's so big and strong that he can shorten up in those situations, but really he's looked fooled a lot. And like I mentioned, the end zone contact's very bad. So it's just like, I don't know, maybe it's just early going, no big deal. I shouldn't worry about it. I'm a little about the way this will progress for this year. And I don't know if I were the front office, they look worried about everything else. I'd be worried about this shit too.
You worry too much. I don't know. I'm hesitant to get too worried right now. I think I'm going to like try and look ahead and think that maybe Colson is just kind of a streaky hitter. And maybe that's what we're going to see. And we're going to see some slow starts. We're going to see some slumps. I'm not terribly concerned right now. And the thing about it too is like, I think as fans as a whole, he hits a couple home runs and we're not even really talking about this.
That's true.
It could change the profile quite a bit. And it's small sample, right? Like, so he gets, hits a couple nice ones like today, even though today, man, that right fielder, he must owe Colson some money or something. Because
that was wild, right?
He should have had that shit. And then Bobby Witt Jr. should have made a much better throw to home plate. I'm glad they didn't. Fuck them. I'm happy that it happened.
That was absolutely crazy.
But yeah, he got some help. He got some help with that.
Yes, he did.
All right, let's talk a little bit about one of my favorite guys. So the White Sox have Teal, Brooks Baldwin, and Austin Hayes all on the IL. Add Pereira to that too.
Yep.
Are we back to needing Andrew Benintendi to get his shit together, or is it still time to send him to the gulag?
I've been a proponent of it. Like the emotional mind of me wants him out of here because I want someone to go and be in left field and develop. I want to start developing somebody that could matter when this group, is actually good. But when you start looking at like projection modules and stuff for this year, I'm going to pull up Zips right now. Zips actually expected Andrew Benintendi to be one of the Sox better hitters here. I mean, this is the top 6 group. You got Muney, you have Austin Hayes is hurt for a little bit. Vargas is there. The Italian Stallion, Sam Antonacci, and then Kyle Teal and Andrew Benintendi. Benintendi like falling apart here for all the overbettors on the regular season win bets. That's very bad for you. I'm going to just let you know. Like all the projections that thought maybe 69, 70 wins, 68 wins had Benintendi as a league average hitter. It's kind of okay in there. And so you can toss him, but you're seeing what else they have kind of hanging around here. The Tristan Peters, who bunts every other time, and Derek Hill, and a lot of this other stuff. There's not really anything to replace it. Now, maybe that's fine. Maybe you're like, okay, just set it and forget it. We're going to let some other people play. We'll let Lenine DH or whatever. But I think it starts getting scary for the current year if you have to bag Benintendi, and it just becomes a nothing here, Trees. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, we're in a position where Benintendi is important again because not only is the outfield all jacked up, the outfield chaos that we talked about going into the season has produced nothing. So
yeah, like a half a week of good play from Everson Pereira, and that's all it's produced so far.
So you got kind of nothing out there. So you need some production from Benintendi out there, but then also nobody is pushing him out of the DH position. No, like we went into the season, and obviously this before Teal's hurt. We're like, Teal's going to catch almost every day, but you got Edgar Carroll's going to probably get a bunch of DH bats. Like that's they signed Reese McGuire thinking that. Let's be honest, because they went into the season going, we need 3 catchers because Will doesn't like to have Carroll DH without another catcher around. So let's do that. So you've got. You've got Carroll not hitting. I mean, like he's hitting the ball, but directly into the ground as much as possible. And then
that ground ball rate is frightening. That's absolutely terrible.
I think it's at 114% right now. And then Lenine Sosa is just not hitting either, right? And like all the stuff that we remember from last year of the excitement of, Lenyn's got 2 strikes. It's just like, of course Lenyn has 2 strikes and he's not going to do anything now.
He's out now.
He's going to swing. He's going to swing and he's going to miss. So no one's pushing Benny out of that position either.
Right.
So even as guys start to come back, you're still not pushing him off the roster. He has to be good. He can't have a 42 OPS plus,
right? Which
right now is what he is. Well, it might be better or worse. I haven't seen what he's done today. I saw him strike out once, so I don't think it's getting much better. But yeah, so like there should be guys. This season should have been a bunch of guys pushing him out and going, there's not room for you here, and then them cutting him. But right now, Beef, if I'm in the front office, I'm going, well, we're paying this guy $15 million, and no one else seems to want his position. So just keep trotting him back out there and hope for the best. That's what is going to happen.
Yeah, I assume so. And we're going to need him to just start heating up and start being a much better player. Like, I don't know. I mean, someone brought it up the other day. Is like, he swung and missed and got hit with that ball, right? It's like that's the signs of someone being cooked, right? So like there's light cookage signs right now. And if we get the full cookage, I mean, they may have to dump him, but you kind of have to hope and pray at this point. Like if you want to salvage much out of this season, there's no one to go to. There's no position players really to bring. Antonacci's your only real answer to bring up at all. Like I saw the Charlotte Knights were playing Corey Lee in right field. And people were like, oh, look at Corey Lee in right field. I'm like, there's no fucking way they're going to bring Corey Lee up and put him in the outfield. We saw him play the outfield that last game of the year. Fucking balls bounce off him and shit. They're not doing that, all right? They're just putting him out there so they can play him occasionally. Like, don't get ridiculous. This team would be way worse with that situation. So it's just insane. We need it. We need, as much as we never liked that signing. We've kind of wanted them off the team for a while. We kind of just need him to hit. How about just show up and hit, Benny? Let's do something for us.
Just sell out for power. Like, don't worry about base hits. Don't worry about walks. Just swing and try and hit home runs. Just take advantage of the park you play in and just hit some home runs, man. Just like, hey, I'll take anything. I will take anything, Benny.
God damn it.
Not Italian, but supportive of him.
Timothy Maurer says you get a 50 OPS plus swinging an imaginary bat. Yeah, I was gonna say that it's tough to go very low. I know Lenyn Sosa is currently lower, so Carol, but it's bad news.
Beef. Quick question for you on this: Did we curse Mike Vasil and Brooks Baldwin by talking about their minor league options so much in this offseason?
I think so, and I think the nail in the coffin, Treasy, was MSS picking Brooks Baldwin as his guy for a hot start. And then next thing you know, Baldwin's got surgery to end his goddamn season over his elbow. Like we highlighted this early that we were worried that these guys are get taken advantage of. They're gonna, because they have minor league options, they're gonna put guys on the roster ahead of them, and then everything goes bad for them. Man, it's like a goddamn horror movie. All this shit that's happening to these poor bastards, and like Vasil has to get the Tommy John, and effectively like Baldwin basically got something similar to the elbow. Apparently that elbow brace,
internal brace surgery. Yeah.
The internal brace surgery is something similar, but not as serious, I guess, because you don't need your arm to the level of a pitcher needing it. But regardless, like full seasons for both of these guys, it's absolutely out. And like, it weirded me out that we talked about them a bunch and about the roster situations. The next thing you know, poof, they're gone in a second.
Yeah. Beef. I'm not one to take blame. To be totally honest, and even when I'm going to, I'll just take credit. I'll take credit for doing something, and so I'll just say that we did this for you, the prospect hound. This is what you wanted all along. This is going to open up roster spots for the guys that you've been talking about for years, and so they're going to come up and get all this opportunity. And if they don't, them plus Baldwin and Vasil next year. Oh, man, that's when we're going to start to see it all come together. We're giving you this gift. You get to talk about this now for a while, and the team's going to be terrible, so it's a great time to talk about it. So this is from me to you. You're welcome.
Very sweet of you. Not so sweet to Mike and Brooks, I'll say it that way. The opposite is sweet for them guys.
But honestly, though, I I really like Mike Vasil and Brooks Baldwin, so it's sad to see this. Yeah. Something with the Vasil thing. I love that they're having him travel with the team. I think that's awesome. That's cool. Yep. But yeah, I was thinking about with that beef is, can you imagine being the next guy that has like, it might be Baldwin, right? Like has a season-ending injury and is like, hey, I saw that Mike's getting to go with the team all over. How about me? Can I come? And they're like, why don't you stay home? Why don't you stay home?
That's a tough break right there.
I don't know who's gonna ask for it, but someone who's out for the season is going to ask for it at some point this year, and they're gonna be told no, or everybody's just gonna travel with the team. They're gonna have 5 planes full of people, bringing everybody.
Yeah, they need extra capacity to get everyone in there. Yeah, on opening day, Mike Vasil's mom came up to me and Mrs. Beef and gave us a big hug and said that Mike's happy how supportive the fans are of him and everything. And I asked how he's doing. She said he's in great spirits and he's feeling good about everything. And so that was good. That was reassuring to hear from someone in his camp that he's not so down about this because this is terrible. Like the guy finally gets a chance. He has a great year last year. Let's not undersell that. Great year out of the bullpen, 100+ innings, 2.5 ERA, fucking outstanding year. And then an injury kind of derails the opportunity. It's brutal.
He's horribly missed this year too, right? Like there's all throughout the beginning of this season when we've been talking to people, they're like, this would be where you need Mike Vasil. Yes. Like you can feel where he's missing. But yeah, I did like that he was at the kids' day though. I think that's really good. Cool. I hope for both of these guys that it just takes, but I agree, Beef, on the that he's in good spirits is huge because when I read Paston's book, that was like one of the things that was really tough on these guys of just they're not doing what they normally do and they don't know what to do with themselves. They're just like it's an existential crisis because this is all they've ever done.
Right.
So I'm glad that, and that's another reason I'm glad the team's letting them travel with them because then he's still part of it and stuff. So we'll see what they do with Baldwin if they let him come or if they tell him, hey, you can't come, you
stay away. Stay home.
Beef, one more thing to talk about, and this is slightly about Shane Smith, but more just about like the start that he had on Tuesday. I was watching this from like the MLB game day because I was at work. Just like glancing in, and I'm just like, this seems like a lot of pitches. Seems like he's just like he's only trying to strike guys out. Like that's like
right,
and to the detriment of his pitch count, to the detriment of walks. And your question here is, and I'll let you answer it first too. Is that game indicative of what the White Sox are this year? A team with terrible defense, an offense that leaves the starting pitcher with little room for error, and then the pitchers that have to overcompensate for that.
Yeah, I think it is. I think it puts the setup puts a lot of additional pressure, especially on the starting pitcher. And we've seen it a little bit where these guys are trying to be a little too fine. Now, the Shane Smith start on Tuesday was an extreme example of it, where it looked like he looked at third base. He didn't know who the fuck that guy was. He saw Benny was in left field. He saw goddamn Lenitos at first base. He's like, I'm striking everyone the fuck out this game. I'm not letting a single ball get hit to nobody. And then he's got all those strikeouts and walks and shit. Someone tweeted it. He was 58 pitches in the game. There was no balls put in play yet. 0 balls put in play. The man had thrown 58 pitches. Then finally there's a ball in play to third. Error right out of the gate. Trezo, you betcha. You're like, fucking error immediately.
You put that tweet out there about how he's looking around the field and like, what the fuck? I've got to strike everybody out. And like, obviously I just have the game day up and like, it's ball in play. And it's like error. Of course it was an error.
But yeah, I think sometimes we underestimate the amount of pressure that gets put on the especially the starter, but the bullpen as well in these situations where they have to be so fine with regards to not having a very good defense and with not having the kind of offense that can really come back. You give up a run, it's a lost cause. Like everyone's been saying, the bullpen blew this game, the bullpen blew that game. It's like you're scoring 1 run, 2 runs. I mean, like, yeah, I get the bullpen could hold the team to nothing all the time, but it's not likely to happen. You're going to need the offense to contribute a little bit. And I thought it was kind of an indictment of the whole build, like we mentioned earlier, the kind of the way that they are set up. It's going to be tough on these guys, and especially going to be tough on guys when they don't have it. In games when it's like they're kind of look a little bit off, and they're really trying to like nibble and shit. It's like even the game that Davis Martin won in Miami, he didn't look that great, but they scored 9 runs. Everyone can pitch well when you score 9 runs. Just put the ball in the middle of the plate, let them fucking hit it. So yeah, I'll be watching out for this the rest of the year, just especially with the group of young starters coming up, and just to see how pressed they look.
Well, I think the other thing too is like you have a lot of starters, you have a lot of pitchers, I should say, on the staff that aren't strikeout guys, right?
Yeah, that's right.
And it just worries me that, like, remember Aaron Bummer? Like Aaron Bummer could make everybody hit a ground ball, and they didn't have anybody that could feel the ground ball, so it became problematic. It was like every team would be like a guy like that. That's like, he just only throws ground balls. I think at one point in one season, Aaron Bummer, the launch angle against Aaron Bummer was a negative number. And it's like, and his ERA was like 6 million because there's no one fucking get to the ball.
So pick it up.
So yeah, that's something I would like to avoid in the future. But I mean, I don't know that there's a path to that right now.
Not with this group, I don't think.
No, you'd have to get like a whole new outfield.
Yeah, exactly. No, actually, the infield defense is not too bad. You have a good shortstop, you have a good second baseman.
And it improves if you move some of the infielders that you have in the outfield back to the infield.
Agreed.
So yeah, it's problematic from that standpoint too. So, Beef, you gonna pay some bills there?
I'd be happy to.
Morning rolls in and the world feels new. Windows down, let the fresh air through. Out in Orland Park, there's a road to trace, and a 2020 Mazda calling your name. Take a spring ride, feel it all come alive. Massive Orland Park, let the good day drive.
Guys like something really. He fucking phoned it in on that one.
The comments are really. They really enjoyed that ad right there.
I might have to buy another Mazda just to make this up to our sponsor. Like this is
some funny ass shit, man. I was like, the intro's going long here. I wonder when he's going to come in and start saying something. The answer is never. He's never going to show up. Oh, fucking incredible. Absolutely incredible.
My God. You know what, people, let's just continue with White Sox talk.
Let's do it.
All right. This is a little more in the park situation. This is more, 108 type stuff. But I think a lot of you experienced this if you were at the game on Saturday. All the fucking systems were down in the park. Like every stand was down. The craft cave was down. Like you couldn't buy a beer in the park. Yeah. We were sitting out on your deck, and our guy Jimmy, he texts. He's like, "Hey, everything's down in the park. You can't get a beer." And we were getting ready to go, and like we saw Wally getting out of his car, and Wally's like, "Hey, you guys going right now?" And we're like, "Nah, can't get a beer in there. We're gonna have a beer here instead." But eventually, we went in. Our girls, their stand was closed.
Yeah,
they left in like the third or fourth inning because like their ship just never came back.
It never came back on. Yeah, it was. Yeah.
So what are they gonna do? Just sit around in the concourse and do nothing and tell people, right. I'm sorry, we're closed? Because people kept coming up to them. So Beef, the question is, can we get the Ishbia Cash Infusions to contribute to either some additional internet connection, some redundancy there, or maybe some new equipment? Yeah,
I mean, it feels like you can say okay and not worry about, like, every once in a while the stadium scoreboards will glitch, right? That probably happened a half dozen times last year. And while that sucks and looks amateurish and dumb, it's not that big of a deal. Everyone has a scoreboard in their fucking pocket that they can pull out and get, whatever stats they need from the actual game that's going on, right? It's a couple seconds lag, no big deal. But the stuff where you're making a lot of money, where especially selling beer, seems like something you cannot have go down. You got to have a redundancy or a backup plan that allows you to do cash or some other method. Now, what was lucky for us, we hadn't done this very much, Trezo, is we went with the guys, vendors walking around. And so we used to always do that back in the day when we had our people. And then as our people shut it off, then we started using Midwest Beer Stand more often. But yeah, that became a lot more convenient. But I think they don't have as many beer vendors walking around like they used to in the old days. And so it's hard to like shift over to something like that. It's a shame. They really need to work all of that stuff, man. They need to make everything about a stadium so that those things just don't happen. You got to have backups for everything.
Yeah, and like that's the thing too, is like, I mean, like every company has this. Like it's not like it's some like, oh, this is, you would never think to have like a different internet provider that's kind of just your backup ISP. And like everybody has that. Like if you work for a company, like they're making sure that they're staying online and shit. So like that's not new, and they should have that. The fact that they don't is kind of wild, and we found out exactly what would happen. And it probably cost them more to not get the money from that game than to have paid for like an extra internet connection that is just used as a backup for like 10 years.
Right. Yeah. And Trezo, they would use it a lot of times because, as I mentioned, there's scoreboard glitches. There's other stuff that you see around the stadium that get kind of messed up or whatever. Or what you could do is offer that backup and people can log into it. And they can get a stronger connection there, so they can take pictures and put things on the internet or wherever the fuck. Like,
and you could just kill it if you need it. That's right. Like everybody gets kicked out except for what you need, right? Like you could totally do that. Totally reasonable thing to do. They won't.
Absolutely.
It is totally reasonable.
Well, I mean, this is one of the things we look. I know we all want a better team, and we're hoping Ishbia puts money towards that. I would like to put towards some of this shit too. Just make the whole ball game experience much nicer and easier, and that would have done it on Saturday. You would have had no problems.
You know what also would have not been crazy to do, Beef, in that situation? Is you have a bunch of stands around the park that sell beer, right? That's all they do.
Yeah. Why
couldn't you give the remote control ones to them? I'm sure they don't use them all in a game. Like I'm sure like those, you probably could have opened up 10, 15 stands just by doing that. And like that, I don't know if it didn't cross their minds or if it's a different company owns different parts and like that would be problematic or what, but like, also seems like it could have been a path to doing this.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's we're not saying it's an over. We're stuffing the suggestion box right here.
Yeah.
Maybe for next time you get this stuff lined up. So it's better for everybody.
I would love to know what that cost them. I would love to know like what's the difference between a normal Saturday. And this was a pretty big Saturday. I think it was pretty well attended. There was a giveaway, right? And then it's the Blue Jays. Like you had people in the stadium.
Yeah, there's no question.
Sold nothing.
Yeah, exactly. You got shut out in many spots where you would do bang up business. K-Dog in the comments is asking about soap dispensers in the bathroom. Let me tell you something. Opening weekend, they had the porta potties out in the concourse. That's where I went every single time. Especially opening day because the lines were shorter. But then there was 0 lines on Saturday and Sunday. You could literally walk in there and right out a lot faster than the bathroom. So I haven't checked yet. I'll have to wait till Tampa's in town and I can.
So they had they have the what is it, like the hand sanitizer?
The hand sanitizer. Yeah, you get the sanitizer. That's right.
All right, Beef. You have a question, I think, for me that you want to ask.
I do have a question for you. Yeah. So, Saturday after the game, I'm at home watching the basketball. I've had pops, and I like to get on the internets and have some fun. And my guy, Shy Sox fan Mike, put up a poll because apparently Connor McKnight had done the play-by-play on the Saturday game, and it was who do you like better as a play-by-play, Connor McKnight or John Schriffen? And the Beef Loaf tweeted, Schriffen has his issues, but he's 10,000 miles better than Connor. Treasy, my question for you is, should I just stop commenting on Connor McKnight's play-by-play prowess and shut the fuck up? And just shut the fuck up in a general sense on Twitter sometimes and not always voice my goddamn opinion?
No. That's part of your brand. But I gave this some actual thought, Beef. And I was listening, like I told you, I was listening to that Avi Loeb podcast.
Yeah.
And he was talking about like the way that he approaches science and things like that. And it's very interesting because, he's a tenured professor, and his idea is like, hey, I'm tenured, so I can do all the riskier experiments. I could do the thing, I could take big swings. I can try and advance what we're doing here, and he's like, a lot of people just don't do that. They get tenure and then they, want to win awards and they want to go to cocktail parties and stuff. And he's one of the things that he said in there, though, which was I really liked, was if you want to be popular, and I'm paraphrasing a bit, if you want to be popular, just follow them, just go with the mainstream narratives. Make a little nuance on it, change it a little bit so that it's yours, and just do what everybody else is saying, and you'll be very popular. People will like you. People will want to talk to you about these things. But he doesn't do that. He doesn't like to do that because he doesn't find it. He finds it disingenuous to work like that. And like, I think you should take that same approach. But I will say, for the Connor McKnight thing, I would take a slightly different approach.
Okay.
And I would ask, because I'd want to know, because you came to the right person to ask about this, because I don't have any dog in this fight.
Yeah.
You know me, I'm the least interested in play-by-play announcing of anybody of any of our friends. Possibly. I rarely listen to it.
Correct. Yep.
The only time I do listen to it is when I'm listening on the radio, and that is for a purely functional reason. That's what.
Because you have no choice.
I just need to know what's happening. I don't care who's saying it. Like, they could have an AI voice doing it; it wouldn't matter to me. So, I think you should approach it from the standpoint of finding out why people like Connor McKnight so much. I think it would be interesting to see what, I asked you this question about John Schriffen when we were doing the fart walk a few weeks back.
Yeah.
What is he great at? Like, it looks like a lot of people like Connor McKnight. What is he great at? And is it he's just better than it's better than the other thing? Yeah. So I don't like this thing.
I don't like the other thing. So I'll just, this is better than that thing.
This is better than that. Yeah. Because if that's the case, I don't know why anyone would get emotional about what you said. Like, it's just like, but
exactly.
I think people that are responding, they must have something that they really enjoy about Connor's game. And like, so I think it would be interesting to find that out. And I think I would ask you, though, to keep an open mind. And like, maybe you're going to learn something that, like, hey, I didn't notice that Connor does this. Yeah. And this is really good. I don't know that you'll find that.
But I might.
I can't
give myself an opportunity to find it.
I'm going to tell you, I don't think I've ever listened to Connor McKnight call a game, to be totally honest, because I'm like, I said this when we were on the stretch. I'm like the worst person to ask about the play-by-play person, because I'm at a ton of games, so I don't hear it there. When I'm at work, I'm usually just looking at game day, because I can't have like a radio on and like talking to a bunch of people and people coming in my office and stuff. Like I can't do it. It doesn't work for me. So I'll have it up and I'll look every once in a while. When I'm at home and I'm watching the game, I don't watch it in silence. I'm usually, talking to Currency where you're doing stuff. We're having, some wine or something. And like, I'm not paying close attention to what's being said. So I'm the worst guy to ask about this. So I'm pretty sure I've never heard Connor McKnight call a game. And if that's so, I really have no opinion on this. So I would like to know what people think about him and like what, like some examples of like, oh, he did this and this was really good. This was a really impressive, he saw this, pointed it out to Stoney, and Stoney was like, oh yeah, that's cool. Like I didn't notice that. That's the kind of thing like it maybe he's doing, I don't know about. And if so, I'd like to hear about it. So Beef, get that information for me.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll go great.
I see the White Sox did win.
Yeah, so the comments are on fire. They broke the streak in KC. Everybody.
What's funny is everything we talked about, Beef.
Yeah,
it still happened. They only scored 2 runs. The bullpen had to be absolutely perfect.
Yeah, that's right. The defense must have picked them up too. So a nice one. Yeah, it looks like it. Anthony K with the dub for that, and Sir Anthony Dominguez second save, Trezo. But yeah, bullpen nice and clean. 5 Ks in 3 1/3 innings for Grant Taylor, Jordan Leisure, and Sir Anthony Dominguez.
Sir Anthony realized I want to be on another team. And so he's been picking up the pace.
He had a rough outing in Milwaukee. It happens. Yeah. Closers get blown up. Not time to give up on them. It's okay.
Let's get this drink here. CJ came back. He said, "Forget the restaurant guy. Here's another 5 so I don't shoot my damn self." Sheesh.
Thank you, CJ.
We'll upgrade his Suno subscription, CJ, so that he pumps out a little better music. For you. Maybe I'll get him on 11 Labs so he can get some voices to actually just talk over so he doesn't have to do the voiceover.
String his own voice.
All right, this one I think be probably one of the last things we'll talk about tonight, but I think this could go for a minute because I'm very excited about this.
Yeah.
But
I was hoping you would opine on this. I brought it up specifically because I wanted to hear what you have to say about this.
Yeah, so Ozzie Guillen is getting his number retired, and it's about goddamn time. But we want to talk about this, and I want to talk about this a little bit too because I was actually just on a different podcast with I forget and I'm blanking on the name of it because I'm an idiot. But
that's like Long Gone,
the Long Gone podcast. Yeah. And they asked me about like some of my favorite players of all time with the White Sox because they're not a White Sox podcast. And I was talking about Ozzie Guillen, and I was like, you don't realize, I think, what he can mean, like a guy, especially like in the 80s and especially before the 80s too. But what a guy can mean to a kid who doesn't see a lot of himself out there in the world. Like in the famous people. Not a lot of Hispanic people were famous in the 80s. It was like Ozzie Guillen and Paul Rodriguez. All right. We had Cheech Marin, Paul Rodriguez, and Ozzie Guillen. And it was so cool to have Ozzie in my hometown and playing shortstop for my team. But Beef, on top of that, right? On top of him being that kind of star in our lifetime and in like being important to us, I was thinking about how prolific his career is for a single team and how difficult it is to do what he's done with a single team, right? Because as a player, great, like he provided like 20 WAR to the Chicago White Sox as a player.
Yeah, I mean, it's undersold Trezo as a player that he is top 30 all-time Baseball Reference defensive WAR. So for the defensive side of the WAR, he is top 30 of everyone who's ever played. Okay, it's like I don't know. People don't really realize how great of a defender Ozzie Guillen was in the context of all of baseball.
The only reason that you probably don't is because Ozzie Smith exists, right? Like, he's a contemporary of Ozzie Smith. And so, like, that's maybe the thing that holds him back the most, but incredibly good player for the White Sox. Then he manages the White Sox, wins over 600 games, wins a World Series. That on its own, just by itself, without the playing, is incredible. But he has both of those. And then he's one of the best guys we've had on TV. Out of the whole pantheon of people that we've had on TV for the White Sox. Like, it's him and Hawk, right? Like, I can't think of anybody who's in there. When they announced CHSN beef, we were sitting around drinking, and we were like, I don't care who they keep. They have to keep Chuck and Ozzie. That's that.
You don't have a station if you don't keep them. That's
right.
That's it.
Ozzie should be on as much as David Haw is on CHSN.
Yeah, it's true.
But to do all three of those things for a single team is incredible. Ozzie, and then Ozzie is just kind of out in the community. It's not hard to find Ozzie in Chicago. Like, you see him. And he is as advertised. He is larger than life in every moment that you could see him out at the store, at the bar, whatever. And it's like, you're in awe of this person. He's a man among boys. Ozzie. So I can't say enough fucking good things about Ozzie, because I just have loved him through his whole career. Right? I've grown up worshiping that dude, and like, I'm just so happy for him. Like, it's so, like, by the way, we already have like 1 million tickets to that game. We're gonna pack the fucking 108. So like, you guys stay tuned, and we'll get some free ones out to everybody. But yeah, we're like, man, every cousin we know is gonna want to be there for this shit. So we're packing the 108. Sorry if you were trying to get tickets like close to our seats. They're gone. We own them.
I was gonna say they're scooped up. Right, let's go.
But yeah, Beef, I don't know anything to add there. I can't say enough good things about him.
Yeah, no, I think you did it well. I mean, he in the pantheon of Chicago sports, if we're being honest with ourselves, he's up there on the level of like Ditka and Jordan, because and the parallels between Ditka are interesting, because they were both players and then came back and for the coaching glory, everything. Ozzie's just so much more lovable than Ditka ever was. Ditka was abrasive and kind of a jerk sometimes or whatever, but like the accomplishments, and then still being here and still being a fabric of the community. I think that's the interesting part that you mentioned, Teresi, is just like, he's just out there amongst you guys. Like, he's there. If you go to the stadium, you'll see him places or whatever, and just kind of hanging around or whatever. That's like his house, man. Like, Sox Park is like his fucking house. And so, yeah, I mean, I think like, he's not only a White Sox great, he's sort of a Chicago great, an all-time Chicago great, someone that should be celebrated. And it was cool. Sox fans were coming out, but even, Cubs fans even were like, wow, that's cool. And it's rare that there's the crossing of the line like that. You saw a little bit with Rhino and with Andre Dawson, a few people, but it doesn't happen that often. So very cool to see kind of everyone coming together with regards to Ozzie. And yeah, Ozzie's loved. I mean, everyone I've talked to, they can't fucking wait to be there on August 8th and enjoy that game and take that in. They pack the, they sell that fucking thing out, and everyone's there, and we can all have a great time together.
Let's get a couple comments here, because Southside Jeff says there was a great post-game guy that used to play for the Sox. I think he played too. What happened to that big guy? Now, Jeff, Frank Thomas is the best player that's ever played for the White Sox. I don't think anyone should or would dispute
Not disputed.
that.
Yeah.
But putting him in the same ballpark as Ozzie for post-game is crazy talk. He is. I love Frank Thomas. Yeah. Me and Beef lined up. We never get to the game early. We lined up like 90 minutes before the game, before gates opened, sweating our asses off in the middle of July to make sure that we were as close as possible to Frank's podium when he was giving his speech in the blazing center field sun. We love Frank Thomas, but he is just not Ozzie when it comes to a celebrity like on TV type guy, like a guy who's going to give you craziness on television. It's just not. I don't think it's the same ballpark. So I agree. Like, I'm not trying to discount Frank's playing. He's there, but also Frank never managed the team, right? That's kind of where I was going with that. But yeah, I mean, like, I think they do need to figure out shit with Frank before Ozzie's retirement day, because it would be fucked up if Frank ain't there. That would make me very sad if Frank wasn't in the house for that.
Yeah.
And then J Dub says, only downside to Ozzie is he won't criticize Jerry. Thinks of him as his father. Ozzie is one of my all-time favorite players for sure. Well, put yourself in Ozzie's shoes here, though. Like, Jerry's given him tremendous opportunities his entire life and has been very loyal to him. It's tough. I would assume it's tough in that scenario to like be super critical of him. Also, Ozzie's in there. He probably knows who's fucking up, and maybe he doesn't feel like it's Jerry.
I was going to say, I understand that comment, but you have to think about this from the perspective of people who know the person directly. It's easy for fans to throw, shit, when they don't know the people or whatever. But when you work with someone and you know them in a personal relationship, whatever, Ozzie is critical of the team daily. Like, so I think that's the extension you're going to get of it. He's not going to have someone who's a father figure to him. He's going to be talking shit to him on a daily basis. That's not how you would do it either. If the roles were switched, you wouldn't do that shit either. And that's just, human nature.
All right. Let's get a drink here. Danny Reyes says, my best moment of Ozzie was when he took the security wand off my hand before getting searched to tell me he needs one.
Cheers, thanks, Danny. Appreciate you.
Southside Jeff says, how sad was it that Ozzie thought it was a bobblehead because he didn't think the Sox would retire his number, to the point he told kids not to go if he's dead.
Oh, if he was dead,
if he's dead, yeah. I mean, like, that is like, this is to the earlier point of, like, why did it take so long to do this? Like, it feels like this should have happened. I mean, this should have happened before the Burley statue, or it should have happened last year when they were doing all the 05 stuff. Like, it would have been a great, like, like Hispanic Heritage Night, and you retire Ozzie's number. Like, that would have been incredible. So yeah, I mean, it is a shame that it's taken this long, but I'm happy it's happening. Cheers, Jeff. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff. Appreciate you. Yeah, you are at the point where Ozzie is the last super obvious person to have their jersey retired. I mean, you could, in theory, kind of be on this tree. I don't know who would be the next one after him. Maybe Jose Abreu, but that's not even like the Ozzie one is such a no-brainer. So obvious that it should be done.
Yeah, the Abreu one I think is still on the fence. I mean, like, it's kind of easy to retire it because, like, not a lot of people are going to go like, oh, I want number 79. But yeah, I think he's maybe still a little fringe. But you could see the disparity. We would obviously be in favor if they were like, hey, we're retiring Jose Abreu's number. But the disparity between Ozzie and Abreu is so wide, right? That it's crazy that we're even having that conversation, right? And that it's taken this long. But yeah, I think that, I think had a different guy maybe been a good manager, he'd be in the mix for that. But that managerial career hurt things. And but it does show you that there is risk in taking that manager job. Right? Like, so what Ozzie did is even more impressive because we saw it go fucking horribly wrong.
Yeah, it went the other way. Yep.
All right, Beef. Any parting thoughts on the Ozzie thing? Or are we good there?
No, I'm just thrilled for it. Can't wait for it. It's going to be one of the highlights of the summer, especially with a team that we saw this coming, and it might be a little more exciting in the second half, but I think we're a year away from getting that nice pop where, oh my God, they're surprising us and really doing something here. And so as the summer months lag on, that's going to be something to look forward to. And I really can't wait for it.
And Jeff says Branch Rickey retirement. Well, you know, he's next in line for the GM job unless he takes the Bulls one. All right, Beef. It is time for thank yous and GFYs. Who are you thinking of GFY?
Before I get to my thank you or GFY, I got a little tease. My Sox Summer wanted me to put an image up on the screen for those YouTube people watching. There is going to be a special announcement tomorrow. It's going to involve a cruise. It may involve some White Sox greats, and it may also involve us. So stay paid attention to all our socials. Take a look at everything. We'll have something special for all of you tomorrow. I'm going to thank the big homie. He ain't here, My Sox Summer. And I'm going to thank him for doing something super cool. That was his idea. We talked about doing it. We said we'd do this fucking thing at any cost because we are Bridgeport. We are White Sox community. We are family here, and that is our sponsorship of the Bridgeport Little League. And we got our banner, and he was even nice enough to bust my fucking balls on this banner saying that I was the 1992 Moose Award winner. And he does put best podcast ever for From the 108 White Sox. So it's very cool to be de facto owners. So I got to thank MSS, and I'm going to get the Moose and get it on the screen for you guys right now. So we're going to have the Moose Award. Here it is. So here's the big old Moose Award. People were asking about it. I put a little video the other day. This thing is monstrous. This is a huge award. I won this when I was 14. Now, mind you, I was like 6'1" or 6'2" when I was 14. So picking it up wasn't that bad. The shock to me is that it's still together, Chorizo, and I have not lost the Bill Moose Scourin ball that was signed in here. It's still in the pocket and everything. So
I'm shocked that like one of your cats hasn't eaten that. Like that's the most shocking piece to me. And I'm not just talking about the ball. I'm talking about the whole trophy.
The whole thing. Yeah, how has that fallen and become pieces of this? And I hadn't thought about in the past. We used to do this with a lot of our trophies, Chorizo. You remember this? We would recycle them. We would give them to the grade school or whatever. Hey, you want to use this? You can use it for a trophy, and they'll just get the nameplates changed or whatever. And I thought about doing it with this one, but I thought it's just so gigantic. Like, I don't know that it's like something that I should do that. So I thought I'll just hold on to it, see what happens. And voila, 34 years later, it's useful for me to still have it. Now, probably the last time I still have it. I'm probably going to take it over to Donovan Park, and I'm going to take the trophy to show it our banner, just so I could see it at least one time. But thanks to the big homie, My Sox Summer, for birthing that idea. It's something we've been wanting to do. We love giving back to the community. We love doing charity. We're always going to do that shit because we are one of you guys. Chorizo, who do you got to thank?
Well, obviously also MSS on that one. But I'm not going to only thank MSS in my thank yous because that Mazda ad knocked you down a peg in the thank yous. Like, so, but I want to thank Quernsey. Because we had opening weekend this weekend, and we were, we're not that long that we've been in the new place. We wanted to have people up on the roof deck and get things going, and like she did so much shit to have that ready and have everything in place. He surprised Slim Mick with a garbage can because he thought it was just a bag, and like all kinds of different stuff up there, and like just like really took care of like the whole scene, just so like I could get very drunk. So I appreciate I really appreciate everything she did to get us ready for the season. And thank you to the Uber driver that got Sammy P to the airport. That was an unbelievable task that you pulled off.
Herculean lift, if you will.
Well, that's it for tonight. Thank you all. We will see you very soon. Have a good weekend.
In the city of Chicago, back in the day, there was a ball player. They called him Jizz. They said playing for the White Sox, he had a certain flair. He hit 69 home runs, man, that ain't fair. He swung that bat like a wild tornado storm. Every time he stepped up, he smashed it. It was the norm. The ladies in the stands, they couldn't help but stare. The legend of Alejandro Jizz spreading everywhere. Ooh, Alejandro Jizz.